Today I'm standing outside on the gorgeous grounds of the Bryan Museum. And guess what? We're still going to talk about food. Want to know why? Let's go inside.
Hi, I'm Peter Ochoa. I am the Director of Events for the Bryan Museum here in Galveston. It was an orphanage in 1895 for 100 years. And so in 2015, Mr. Bryan acquired it and spent about 18 months renovating it. We specialize in Texas history, artifacts, paintings.
And that's what people would expect to find here. So first of all, let's back up on the history just a little bit. So this place got slammed by a hurricane in 1900.
Yeah, it had a really interesting European flair on the very top of it. It had Greek columns, it had all sorts of really interesting things. And unfortunately, in the 1900 storm, it was all decimated to the top floor. The interesting thing about this building is that it was so well built that a lot of the neighbors came and sought refuge on the first floor.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's awesome. So when J.P. Bryan bought it, it really needed a lot of help to come back.
It needed a lot of care and a lot of love. It was completely in disarray. There was about an inch of algae on all of the outside of the building. There were collapsed floors. There were it just hadn't been touched in many, many, many years. And he's the perfect person to have renovated it. He's got passion and vision, and he just makes everything more beautiful. He really does.
And so when people think of the Bryan, they typically do think of J.P. Bryan's collections and his passion for history, in particular Texas and Western history. So that's the first thing that springs to mind. Mm-hmm. But what they may not know is that this is a magical place for events.
It is. Again, with Mr. Bryan's vision, he knew we'd have to have a way to sustain ourselves. We are a nonprofit. And so he created this beautiful wedding experience. We have a huge, beautiful glass conservatory that was Belgian design. And we also have a beautiful wrought iron gazebo that came in from West Texas, where he lives part of the time. And so we've also created an amazing garden. Our horticulturist actually lives here on site. And so we're about 1.5 acres. We've got 50,000 flowers and plants. And so couples get married in the gazebo in our garden. And then from there, they take a little yellow brick road to our conservatory where they have the reception. We've also built a custom bridal suite, which actually won an award from the Houston Chronicle as one of the best bridal suites. And we have a really awesome groom's lounge as well.
All right.
So it does serve a lot of purposes. We do weddings just about every weekend, but it also serves for corporate parties, and like this weekend we're having a big gala. But he knew that it would be a success, and sure enough, it is.
So you set the beautiful stage for everything to happen, whether it's weddings or the corporate parties or other events. Where does the food come from?
We kind of specialize the island itself in seafood, of course. So there are a lot of really great restaurants that provide seafood on a regular basis, but then they also cater for us as well. And there's a lot of talent here.
And so, again, people aren't always thinking of museums when they're thinking of food. Yeah. So talk to me, because it sounds like you're about to offer something special for brunch.
Nowadays, museums have to be, they have to have a multi-purpose and multifunction. And so we're always trying to think of something new. People do love the conservatory. They love looking at it, and so many people have never been inside. So we decided to create a Sunday brunch inside this beautiful glass structure. And that will be on May 7th. And that'll be our first time. And it looks like it's going to be a winner because we're pretty much halfway sold already. Try again. We're also going to be creating a supper club from a long ago era, where, again, the glass building just really lends itself to a lot of different events, different cultures, different, eras. It can look old or new. And so we're going to have a traditional supper club with jazz singers and see how that goes.
So real quickly, walk me through some of the culture piece, because I've been through the museum a little bit, and I've seen so many diverse things in here. So I know that you've got, for example, the Mardi Gras exhibit just concluded.
Right, yeah.
And that is spectacular, because I was able to see that before. What are some of the other ones that you think are highlights of cultures that people don't want to miss?
Well, coming up in about another month, we're going to have an exhibit called Thursday Night Lights, which is a take on Friday Night Lights. And it's about the first African American football team. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. It appeals to a different culture. It also appeals to athletes. It's just really interesting. Texas is so broad in our future. I mean, there were French, Mexican, Italians, Germans, you name it. So it was really a melting pot. And so our curatorial department tries to focus on a lot of different aspects within Texas history.
You should have a tailgate party with the
That's a good idea.
with the football.
Hey, I'm open to anything.
I think that would be super fun.
That's a really cool idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think it's really important to start looking at museums as a way to see and do different things. The museum experience now includes wedding venues and entertainment centers in just about every city, and especially the larger museums. You'll find weddings going on there every weekend, and it really provides a really interesting, different perspective, different experience, because the way we describe it here is that it's a little bit old, a little bit new. And it's literally, 1895, and the conservatory is only 6 years old. And all of the bridal and everything is all brand new as well. So it's just a really cool environment if you're looking for something different for your wedding. You get a lot of history. You're surrounded by a beautiful garden, and you get to get married in a glass building. So it's a pretty cool experience.